Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Minute on the Mountain. Oh, just saw a little cottontail. Another little cottontail. Too bad it is not cottontail season. I'm south of Beaver, heading back home from a conference in Las Vegas. Stopped for a couple hours to get a quick hike in, quick shed hunt in. I'm in an area that I've never hiked before, but it is a county I've found sheds in before, so we won't be able to check off a new county on this one. That's okay. So we're going to get to explore some new country. It's hot already. It's already in the high 70s. It's still pretty early in the morning. It's supposed to be about 93 here today. I have water. I always hike with water, but not as much as I would want for a long hike. So it's probably just be a couple hours. But hopefully we can find something today. And at the bare minimum, we're going to get to see some new country. So thanks so much for coming along. Big old gopher snake. You see the tail end of them here, slinking into that sagebrush, or rabbit brush actually. I figured the snakes would be out today, but at least that's not the poisonous kind. It's super bright, super hot already. I left my sunglasses in the car. I don't really like hiking with sunglasses on. I don't feel like I see as well, even though without them I'm squinting. And they're polarized. I love them for fishing. But for some reason, adjusting from the sun to the shade to the sun to the shade with glasses on seems worse than without them. But it is bright today. It's one of those days where you're wishing for just a little cloud cover. It'd be easier to see. I was looking back onto the freeway back behind me. And we're trying to get up into this first ridge up here with all these junipers and cedars. So we're probably only about halfway there. We'll keep working our way up. Cactus are blooming. It's kind of like these little explosions of pink amidst all this brown and gray. They're just kind of scattered here and there, but well, they're pretty. Another one right here. And one more right here. We're slowly getting there. Get up on the top of this first ridge. We're gonna have to drop down and lose a lot of the elevation we gained, and then pick it back up to get into that ridge that I want to really shed hunt and focus on. So that's it across the valley there. I'm not seeing very much sign. There's some deer poop there, but the sign's been kind of few and far between. I debated when I was driving up after I got off the interstate on 20, trying to decide which side of the road to go on. I chose the south side. We'll see if that's a mistake or not. Been seeing mostly pink and purple cactus blossoms, but here's some yellows. And we're just getting into the bottom of this more wooded hillside where I wanted to shed hunt. So, I mean, I've been looking. Sorry for the crash there, guys. I've been looking on the way up, obviously, but just now getting in the area where I want to slow down and really focus for the next couple hours. So hopefully we can find something, and hopefully I didn't just bust this GoPro. Just wading through all this cut area where the saw crews have been in here, trying to make it through this little saddle so I can side hill this ridge here and eventually get back up to that one. Here's looking back the way we came. Well, this ridge behind me, but man, they've been in here. They have cleared out a ton of area up here. These saw crews have. I guess they know what they're doing. It just seems crazy to me to come in and clear out something this big of an area, but I've hiked past quite a few Gatorade and water bottles. I don't know if it's got, and they weren't in the cleared areas, they were kind of on the edge in the trees, so I don't know if it's from the saw crew guys or if other folks have been up here shed hunting this area. I'm not sure. Either way, you shouldn't leave your Gatorade and water bottles laying around. But so hopefully we can finish working our way through all these cut trees and get up in here and then up to that next ridge. That's where we're headed. We got into our first rub of the day. I'm seeing sign, but not a lot of sign, enough to keep me encouraged to think maybe I'll find something, but there's definitely not a ton of sign around here. Anyway, that's our first rub. I just saw some elk droppings, I don't know, 10 yards ago. So maybe we're starting to get into the right area. Just stopped for a few minutes in the shade to cool off and take some salt tablets, get a little water in me. We're gonna have a little snack. We've got Nature Valley cinnamon almond butter biscuit. So I'm eat this and drink a little more water. Actually, I finished my first bottle of water, so I've got some Powerade. I'm gonna drink some Powerade. I'm gonna drop down this ravine, start working up that southwest side of the other ridge, and then loop back around to the car. I'm about 3.5 miles in. So by the time I drop down, get up on top, I would imagine it's gonna be, 7.5 miles round trip, which would be a nice hike. And then get back on the highway. No sheds, obviously, I would have showed them to you by now. Seen a couple more rubs. Again, a little bit of sign, enough sign that I've got hope maybe we'll find something, but not so much sign that I think we should find something. But it's a beautiful day, a little warm. Other than that, it's perfect. Sorry for the abrupt ending on the that shed hunt. I had a little more footage, but I didn't find anything. The skunk train continues. Man, I'm definitely on track to find the fewest number of sheds in a year that I think I've found since I started shed hunting. But it was a pretty area. Got to see some new country. And I knew I was going to do the giveaway on this video, so I'm trying to keep the video from being too long. I want to announce the winner of our 1,250 subscriber giveaway. So just to remind you, it's the Coleman backpacker stove, the 2 packages of cup of noodles, and then the Ready Wise chicken teriyaki and rice. So counting the comments on the giveaway video, and then I indicated I'd give you 3 extra entries if you emailed me and let me know one of the 2 counties that I knocked off this year on the Utah 29 Shed Tour, that would get you 3 extra entries. So when I add all those together, there's 62 entries. Again, that's the comments plus those individuals who sent me an email with the county. And I'm gonna do the comments first. I think there were 34 or 35 comments, it's from memory, but I'll go back and check. And then the emails I got, the extra entries are gonna come on the back end. So I'll pull up this random number generator, we'll run the number on it, and then we'll pick the winner. All right, so we've got our random number generator here, and it ended up being between 1 and 64. So we're gonna generate it right now. 62. So that's going to be one of the comments who commented the county. So let me look that up and we'll announce the winner here in 1 second. All right, well, I'm looking at the comments on the videos. Number 62, that would be Dan, maybe. Dan from the droning veteran. I think he won the last giveaway. So Dan, you're on a roll, man. Congratulations. I think I may still have your address from the last time that you won, but just to be on the safe side, Dan, do me a favor. Would you please email me your address again, minuteonthemountain@gmail.com, and we'll get this stuff sent out to you, and I hope you're able to get some use out of it. Let me clean this up, and then we'll do the Minute on the Mountain to wrap this video up. We are going to continue our journey through the book of Judges, and we're up to Judges 11. Now, I skipped a couple chapters. I'm not planning to go through the whole book, chapter by chapter. And we're going to come up to a story today that it's bizarre a little bit. It's heartbreaking. And it's one that we want to make sure we don't draw incorrect conclusions from this story. And so it's in Judges 11, and it's a judge named Jephthah. And Jephthah's got an interesting story. Jephthah was the son of a prostitute. He was a half-brother. His half-brothers said, "You'll never get a share of the inheritance of our father." A lot of turmoil in his life. But anyway, later in his life, God uses him to deliver the nation of Israel. And beginning in verse 29, it says, "At that time the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he went throughout the land of Gilead and Manasseh, including Mizpah and Gilead. And from there he led an army against the Ammonites. And Jephthah made a vow to the Lord. He said, 'If you give me victory over the Ammonites, I will give to the Lord whatever comes out of my house to meet me when I return in triumph. I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering.' And so then Jephthah led his army against the Ammonites, and the Lord gave him victory." But I want you to notice, it doesn't say in the text, the Lord gave him victory because of the vow that he made. It never says that in the text. I would submit that the Lord gave him victory in spite of the vow that he made. He never should have made that vow. God had already clearly told the Israelites that human sacrifice was something that he didn't approve of. It was something he didn't want. But anyway, so he declares to make the sacrifice. Well, it ends up that his daughter is the one who comes out of the house first to greet him. And so we're going to continue on in the story. Verse 34, "When Jephthah returned home to Mizpah, his daughter came out to meet him, playing on a tambourine and dancing for joy. She was his one and only child. He had no other sons or daughters. When he saw her, he tore his clothes in anguish. 'Oh, my daughter,' he cried out, 'you have completely destroyed me. You've brought disaster on me, for I've made a vow to the Lord, and I cannot take it back.' She says, 'Father, if you made a vow to the Lord, you must do to me what you vowed, for the Lord has given you a great victory over your enemies, the Ammonites. But first, let me do this one thing. Let me go up and roam in the hills and weep with my friends for 2 months, because I will die a virgin.'" Some critics have said that, see, God approved of sacrifice because he gave Jephthah victory, and that therefore the Bible contradicts itself. And there's nothing in the text that says God approved of what he did. He shouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have made the vow. Just because he still had victory, just because he had victory over the Ammonites, doesn't mean God approved of the vow. Now, some scholars think maybe she didn't actually die, that he didn't sacrifice her as a burnt offering, but instead he dedicated her to the Lord, and that she died a virgin, meaning she was dedicated to service in the tabernacle. Now, I don't know enough, to be honest with you guys, to know that I have a firm position on that, if he did, in fact, burn her, if he sacrificed her that way, which is what he had vowed to do, or if somebody talked some sense into him and he sacrificed her in the sense of giving her over to the service of the Lord. And the reason I say that is it says she went into the hills and wept because she would never have children. Not she wept because she was going to die, immediately or in the very near future. So maybe he had already decided to instead give her over to serve the Lord. But either way, he never should have made the vow to sacrifice whatever came out of the door, even if it wasn't his daughter, even if it was a servant, even if it was a friend and another relative. That vow should have never been made, because God did not approve of, in fact, he abhorred human sacrifice. That's one of the reasons the Israelites drove out the nations who were in Canaan, is because they sacrificed their children to false gods. So that's Judges 11, the story of Jephthah. The one other takeaway I would take from this is don't make rash commitments. Don't make vows without considering the costs. Again, he should have never made this vow, but I do think that's something we can take from the lesson. And there is a scripture in, I believe it's in Proverbs, that tells us, do not make a rash promise and only later count the cost. All right, that's the Minute on the Mountain for today. Thanks, guys, for all the support. I've got some trail camera videos coming up where I'm doing some trail camera reviews, and that's really about the next thing on the agenda. I have not been able to get out and play in the mountains much. It's been extremely busy, but hopefully within the next week or so, I'll get those trail camera reviews finished. We'll see what kind of cool footage we got. I did go out and hang some cameras about a week ago. We're going to let them sit up there for 2 weeks and pull them off, and we'll see what we got. We'll see you guys the next time we're out on the mountain.